Hi, thank you for joining us today. My name is Lisa Otone Silva, and I work at Rhode Island Parent Information Network. This is my colleague, Deb Belanger, and today we're going to talk about how to ensure equal access to your child's education and what you can do if families and districts disagree with the 504 plan. So Deb, what does happen when schools and families disagree about discrimination based on disability?
So one of the first things that a parent needs to do is formally disagree in writing with the 504 team's decision. This is the first thing that we tell parents all the time. You've got to get this in writing and then request an additional meeting with the district's section 504 coordinator.
Okay, so the 504 coordinator, how would a parent find out who that is in their district?
So every district is required to have at least one 504 coordinator. That information can either be found on your district's website or the Rhode Island Department of Education's website, or you can just ask for that information directly from your school principal.
And if you meet with this 504 coordinator and the issue isn't resolved at that meeting, what can a parent do next?
The next thing that they should be doing, they have the right to an appeal. So they want to request a copy of the district's grievance procedures. Just like every district is required to have a 504 coordinator, they're also required to have grievance procedures associated with section 504. Now, each district's a little bit different. Some procedures might send you as a next step directly to the superintendent. Some might go to a school committee, or some might even go directly to the Rhode Island Department of Education. It's important that a formal complaint be put in writing, not just a simple phone call. There's no actual form, but a grievance in writing or email is important to determine what those next steps are going to be.
Great. So I understand that it needs to be in writing, but what should a parent put actually into that written complaint?
You want to make sure that, certainly a parent's identifying themselves, their name and address, their student's name, possibly where which school they're in, and include what's the problem or what action is not happening or happening, allegedly that's discriminatory, and how you'd like to see that resolved. What's the remedy? What is you're hoping to see happen? Make sure you include that in that document.
And so once that written complaint is submitted, what should a parent expect to happen next?
That complaint will be investigated by the district using the timelines that are in their grievance procedures, which is why it's important for you to have that information so you know what they should be doing. Now, that investigation might be informal, it is usually, but it needs to be thorough, and it needs to afford all interested people, all people involved in this conversation, an opportunity to submit evidence, and that includes parents and students. That evidence needs to be relevant to the disability discrimination complaint. At that point, a decision is then made, and then a written decision would be shared with certainly families and others involved.
And so once that decision is made, if it hasn't resolved the issue at the district level, what happens next?
So for families, if that doesn't happen and you've exhausted the chain of command within the district, and that should also include the school committee, the next option would be a commissioner's hearing with the Rhode Island Department of Education. So you would then move that appeal or that complaint process to the commissioner's office. A hearing officer presides over a meeting in which both sides provide their evidence, and then another decision will be made as to whether discrimination based on disability took place. Now, at that point, if the parent still feels there's an unresolved discrimination issue, they could contact the Office of Civil Rights in Boston, and after they investigate, they do their own investigation of that situation. It's important for families to understand that the Office of Civil Rights will be looking to make sure that all local avenues, procedures have been completed and exhausted. So they've already gone as far as the hearing officer at the Rhode Island Department of Education before they kind of step in and take a look.
That's a lot of information. Thanks, Deb. So I think after all that, some of the key takeaways that I heard were that families should disagree in writing. Every district has a 504 coordinator that a family can reach out to. Grievance procedures also can vary by district, so it's important to request a copy of your district's specific procedures. And then that, you need to follow the chain of command through both the district and then Rhode Island Department of Education, and if needed, the Office of Civil Rights. So I think that just about wraps things up here. But for more information on Section 504 or other education resources, please visit our website or call us at 401-270-0101. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.